It's nice to see you all. I'm very excited, and also I see, yeah, perhaps it's also for the format. Yeah, I would love just to see you all, and I'm looking, for eyes and for faces in the screen, and we are quite a big group this morning, so happy to be here, and happy also for the chance to meet with the organizer team of this IIT, and also to have companionship. I see some friends, and I also see Sudha from India, that she also will be part of this event together. Before going to what I'm planning to propose to you, just for my sense of connection, I would love to invite you, if you're up, to share quickly just maybe your name, the town where you're calling from, and the time that is right now. What time is it from where you're calling? This would help me to connect a bit with you, and I also ask your support so that we can make it in a few seconds, and then we are going to start together. Yeah, I'm willing to join. And is there someone that I can start? So, I'm Giacomo from Camaiore in Italy, and right now it's 9 a.m. here.
I'm Foxy. I'm here from Melbourne. I'm American, but I live in Melbourne, Australia, and it is 5 p.m.
Hi there, my name's Wolf, and I live in Motueka, top of the South Island in New Zealand. And it is just after 7 p.m. Lovely to meet you all.
I'm Sudha, and I live in New Delhi in India, and it's 12:30 noon, just after noon.
Hi, I'm Polly, and it's just after 7. I'm in the top of New Zealand.
I'm Byron. I live in Nelson, New Zealand, and it's just after 7 here as well, top of the south.
Hi, I'm Laura. I come from Italy, Brescia, and here is 9 a.m. Thank you.
I'm Annabelle, and I'm living in Auckland, New Zealand, and it's 7.
Hi everyone, I'm Luca from Italy, and hello, and it's 9 a.m. in the morning.
Kia ora, I'm Deb, and I'm living close to Lake Taupō, and it's in the middle of the North Island in New Zealand, and it's 7:08 precisely.
Kia ora, everyone. I'm Nikki. I'm calling from Auckland, New Zealand, and it's 7, just after 7 on Monday.
So let's wait a few more seconds to see if someone else wants to speak.
Hi there, I'm Jeanette, and I'm calling from sunny Nelson in New Zealand. Hello everyone, nice to meet you.
Okay, thank you. I'm just noticing that I found it so cool that I connected with all of you that are so far from here and in New Zealand, and I'm so looking forward to come. I've never been there, and it's kind of a dream to have this possibility to come to your country, so I'm really looking forward for it. Okay, so the idea for this time this morning is to spend between 1 hour and a half together. I will offer a simple exercise, and I will tell you more in a minute. And then we will have some time dedicated to question and answer regarding the event that we are planning in New Zealand, the International Intensive Training on NVC. Yeah, that's it. So just for my clarity, is there anyone that doesn't have any familiarity with NVC, any book read, any introduction? Can you raise your hands or make a sign so I'm aware of it? Okay, thank you. So the practice I'm going to offer, I call it the title "See What It Is," and it's about what we often in NVC call the first step, or distinguishing our evaluation, our interpretation, our judgment from what we actually see, from what we observe. Okay, that's what we are going to explore. And the purpose actually is to have a bit more clarity about what is this distinction between judgments and observation. Okay, and and a little practice so you can try that out, and then to how do we say, and just to hear from each other what we find out by doing this practice. Yeah. So I'm going to share briefly for a minute something. Let's see if I can make it. Yeah. Okay. So we just to remind all of us what's the purpose that is behind when NVC, and then we are looking, and then we go straight to the practice. But we often say the practice, the purpose is to try to establish a certain quality of connection with ourselves and with other people. Okay, so that it can be more. I'm struggling with English this morning, but a bit more probable that it will manifest between us what we call giving from our heart. Okay, so that we can enjoy and we can engage in relating with ourselves and with others from a certain place of energy and connection. This is the aim. And in order to try to establish this quality of connection, we have these three possibilities that we always can choose. One, we call it self-connection or empathy for ourselves. One is expressing ourselves honestly. And the other one is listening to others with empathy, trying to receive the other people with empathy. And in order to go for connection, NVC suggests us a few things. One, obviously, is to have clarity about our intention when we engage in relating with ourselves and with others, because we want our intention to be to connect. And then, with the clarity of this intention, we want to focus on certain places. This is where we want to put our attention, or sometimes we call it the four steps. The first is observation. This is what we are going to practice. Then feelings, needs, and requests. And you can see here we have kind of two streets, I would say. On your left, might be a familiar street that probably all of us knows how to take it really easy. And that's what most of us learn, where to put our attention, that is on judgment, on thoughts, on strategy, and on demand. And on the other side, on the right side, you have what we would like to do, or what we think it will support us in order to go for connection. So in this practice, we are going to explore the first distinction on top, between judgment and observation, or between interpretation and observation. So, just to introduce just a bit, what is that we call it? How do we define in NVC an observation? I would love to hear, do you have an idea? Are you willing to share something? What's your take on it? Can you say what is that you call an observation, just for the fun of hearing our voices also? Yeah.
Well, I have an example that's happening to me every time I talk to my sister. And the NVC smarty pants, all the giraffes I know are like, that's not an observation. I'm like, she's so much prettier than I am. And it hurts. It actually really hurts. It's like every time I see her, I feel, and it goes way back. Sorry to play it on you. And the observation is that she has thick, wavy hair, that she has a big smile, like that, instead of.
Yeah, thank you, Foxy. So how would you say?
I'm never going to show any of you a picture of her, because you'll be like, she's prettier than Foxy. She should be called Frumpy and the other one Foxy. Okay, I'll stop now.
Yeah, thank you, Foxy. Yeah, I relate to that. So how would you say, would you call it? What is to you an observation, if you try to put some words to it?
I guess it's a visual cue that doesn't have a cultural, meaning affixed to it, or that we at least try to expand our minds so that the cultural meanings don't have that much sway over our visual cues, something like that.
Yeah, thank you. I like that. Any other ideas? Any other, or someone want to add something to it?
Yeah, I often explore observations to be reality as it is, with as little interpretation or perception attached to it, which is sometimes quite hard. That's often how I explore observations.
Okay. Someone else?
Yeah, it's like what you perceive directly with your senses. That's before the thought. It's hard for me to struggle with observations in a way, because it's like I want to say what it isn't instead of what it is. So the closest thing I can say is that it's what I directly perceive. It can be thought, it can be feelings like internal in my belly, like I had a full dinner, my stomach is feeling full. That's the observation, or maybe that's a little bit of a judgment, but I'm having a sensation in my belly right now, or the sky is blue because it's not right now. It's dark outside. That would be an observation. But to say anything more than that starts to get into thoughts and judgments.
Yeah. Thank you, Byron. So yes, I relate to that also. What we can perceive through our senses. So what can I perceive through my eyes, or what I hear, what I can smell or touch, something like that. Yeah, and then for sure, sometimes it's not even too easy to kind of agree on our perception. Like you just said, the sky is blue, and then easily for some of us we call it blue, and some of us we might call it in a different way. And yet that's exactly what what's the invitation is really to look at what we perceive through our senses and to put it into some words. So I would like to, I can add this piece, maybe sometimes in NVC you might hear something like, we call observation what you can record with a camera or with a video camera, if you can put also the smell and the touch in it somehow. And I would like to do some practice with you, and then after we will look at maybe why it's also is useful to do that, and in which way can support us. So with this shared understanding now about what is an observation, what do we call to observe, I would like to make an example with you. So the idea is this: I'm going to say a sentence, and those of you who hear a judgment or an interpretation mixed in this sentence, the invitation is to raise your hand. I'm really happy if you raise your physical body hand, or you can use the Zoom hand, whatever it is. So let's say I can use this. If I say this, they're acting silly. Can you raise your hand if you hear an interpretation of a judgment? Okay. So the idea is this: for the people that raise their hand, who of you would like to try to translate this? What maybe are you, if you are the person that saying this, what are you seeing, or what is happening in front of you that you might call it they're acting silly? Can you say it in a way that does not contain interpretation? Is it clear, my request? Who is that want to try? Nikki.
They could be, say, John and Sally running in the room.
John and Sally are running in the room. So let's take Nikki's sentence now. Those of you that are hearing an observation, you keep your hand down. Those of you that are hearing an observation, mix it with something that you call an interpretation and evaluation, please raise your hand. Okay, so it seems like now we are all in agreement that we would call this fact, or we would call it an observation. I want to make with you another example, and first of all, I want to add also a little piece to what we said before. We said we refer to an observation as something we can perceive through our senses. I found it helpful for myself also to call an observation, for example, what I see myself, I'm thinking. So, for example, if I'm reminding about something, I'm talking to you and I'm reminding about something, that I also would call that an observation, in the sense that we call observation, we call it also the stimuli, the starting point from then when something happens in us, maybe something will move in us, like some feelings, some needs. So, yeah. And I offer you also this part, and you might find it useful, because maybe something that is happening between us right now. I see Sally and the other name you said, Nikki, running in the room, and maybe I'm also thinking about that Sally 1 week ago just hurt yourself that by knocking her head on a furniture. Okay, so this goes almost at the same time, and then something happened in me. Okay, make any sense? Okay, so let's take another example. This I say. If I say, you lied about your mathematics grade, the grade that you got. You lied about it. Please, the people that are hearing an interpretation, raise your hand. Okay. And is there someone that would like to try to translate it and put it in a way that would contain only observations? Please go for it. Deb.
Okay, so I heard you say that you got A plus 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 for your maths grade.
I heard you say that, and what you are, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I heard
Yeah.
exactly. I heard you say that you got A plus plus plus
Okay.
for your maths grade.
Your maths grade. And can you add a piece to that that might let you think that this person is lying?
Mm.
Because
And
just the
I
way you said it,
saw-
it doesn't. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And I saw on your report card that you got a D.
Okay, so I heard you say that you got A plus plus plus, and I saw on your report card that you got D. Oh. Can you raise your hand if you hear this as an interpretation mixed with observation, or if you hear just an observation, just keep your hand down. Okay, so again, it looks like we are all in agreement. So now I ask support to you. I would like to find one where we are not in agreement. So is there anyone that has an example to bring to us? And then we might split in little groups, but still I would love to find at least one that we are not in agreement on the first attempt that we try to translate it. So is there anyone that has an example? A sentence that is mixed with some judgment or interpretation.
Well, I mean, it's pretty bad, but what about Charles Manson is a killer?
Say it again, Foxy, please.
It's a famous case in the United States. I don't know if he's still
Yeah.
alive. Charles Manson is a killer.
Yeah. Charles Manson is a killer. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Nobody
Thank
will
you.
want me at
Thanks for
New Zealand
to
when I get there.
respond to my invitation. So please raise your hand if you hear that as a kind of an interpretation or mix it with judgments. Huh? And those of you that raise your hand, who is that would like to translate it? What would be the observation that let you say this?
I'll have a go.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's any different to say Charles Manson killed someone.
Charles Manson killed someone. So with this sentence now from Kaya, those of you that hear an observation, please rest with your hand down. Those of you who hear an interpretation mixed with observation, raise your hand. Okay. So for those of you that have your hand up, who is that would like to try to translate Kaya's sentence in a way that contains only observation?
I could have a go. I saw on the 6 o'clock news tonight that Charles Manson killed somebody. A report that he killed someone.
So I saw on 6 o'clock news that Charles Manson killed someone. So those of you that now he's hearing an observation, please raise your hand. And those of you that is hearing a mixed interpretation, I mix it up. So if you hear an observation, keep your hand down. If you hear an interpretation, raise your hand. So I'm just checking now. Deb, was your hand up or down? Down. Okay. Down. Okay, thank you. So now we are in agreement to that. Oh, there's one up. Kaya, are you? Yeah? Foxy, is still up your?
No, but I don't really see the difference between the latter and the second statement.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like
Yeah, thank
hardly
you.
different. Yeah.
We're going to that in a second. I just want to see if the is that what you were pointing, Kaya, to Foxy? Thank you, thank you. So yeah, if someone is willing, maybe someone that raised their hand on the first attempt, like Jocelyn or Byron. I remember you raised your hand. Would you like to say what would be the difference for you? What is the difference for you?
Yeah, I'm struggling with expressing the difference. It feels like to say someone is a killer, as it seems like there's an inherent judgment on that, but I'm not quite clear on what that is, you know. So I think there's a difference in saying what the judgment was than hearing a judgment. Hearing a judgment is an observation. So the 6 o'clock news, you heard that they said he was a killer as an observation. If you say he's a killer yourself, then that's seems like it would have to involve some judgment, but I'm very fuzzy on that.
But Byron, what about Manson killed people versus I heard on the news Manson killed people? Some people said, half said Manson killed people, or a few people said that's a judgment still. And then the next sentence was, I heard on the news was the only thing added.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that was a judgment. So those two sentences are what is at stake here, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see a bit more. Is there someone that want to add something to what Byron shared? Something that makes a difference for you?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like in Jocelyn's sentence, she's stating that she saw it on the news and it's becoming an I experience. I saw. So that involves like direct perception. So maybe that's the difference.
Yeah, thank you. I relate to that. That also what I heard from Jocelyn. I heard on the news. It's really about kind of taking the ownership of what I'm saying. So it's something that I heard that to me is different when I say this person is something. It's kind of something out there. And wondering if there anything more that someone wants to add to it.
I still don't see why the second statement, Charles Manson killed people, is not merely an observation. If it's a fact that has been, like, even if he's admitted it, or.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Is there someone that would like to tell Foxy why you don't call it an observation?
Well, I could say why I added what I did. I was taking on the role of somebody who doesn't know anything about Charles Manson's history. And so you're telling me he killed somebody, but I don't know that for a fact. All I know is that I heard it on the news.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
I can take a kind of a more opposite because I do know something about that, and so when I hear that statement, it's like, well, did he actually kill someone himself, or did he have his followers do the killing? So
really good point. Yeah.
So to say that he killed, it feels like, oh, there's a judgment thrown in there because
he killed it out, I think. Yeah. Oh, no, beg your pardon. I'll shut up now.
No, I think it's a really good example. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm enjoying the exchange. So I think there are many layers, even in this simple sentence. some layer I heard from what you shared, and so the one that I just heard is that just for the fact that someone is saying something in the news, it doesn't mean even that really happened. It's just someone that is saying something on the news, and I can say, I'm hearing that this person is saying that this person killed someone. Maybe other people might not agree on that if they had a different experience of what happened. So the idea is this: when we get around an observation, we easily can kind of agree that we are talking about the same thing. And I also want you to see this possibility, because to me, words are often charged with meaning in our culture. So if I say this person killed someone, my mind can easily interpret that like that he did with some maybe intention. He wanted to kill this person. This is just a possibility. I mean, just to see that there might be really different things that I translate. When I hear this person killed someone, I maybe immediately think that he did it on purpose, or maybe there was something behind that. So rather than if I said, I heard on the news that this person killed someone, it's a bit more, comes to, what I call an observation place. Is that helpful, Foxy? Thank you. And I can add also that it might be that if there were people witnessing what happened, they might call killing someone a little bit different. I mean, maybe the person died, one person died, and we might call what happened a bit different, that someone killed someone else. Make any sense? Okay. Then I don't know this person, and I hear that it's a popular thing for some of you. Then, okay. Thank you. So I think now, first of all, it's clear the invitation that I would like you to do. So my idea is this. I would like you to split in 2-3 groups, and for this I will ask you to Jorinde. And the invitation is this. Right now, take 1 minute to write 3 judgments that you make about other people. Whatever comes to you. Maybe someone you know really well. Maybe it's something that someone told you that you consider a judgment. So I just want you to do this point 1 that you see on the screen. Write 3 judgments you make about other people, or you heard about other people doing about you or about other people. And if you don't find 3, it's okay. You are going to use also other people examples. So, is there anyone that doesn't have at least one judgment ready to try out? Please raise your hand. Okay. So, I would like to do groups of 4. Of 4 is fine. Or please, Jorinde, adjust it to the way it fits to you. The idea is this. You start from a judgment from someone. Let's say it's me with Jorinde, Jocelyn, and Kaya in the group. Let's say I start. I say out my judgment like this. She's always complaining. Then I want you to do what we just did. The people that hear a judgment, raise the hand. One of the people that hear a judgment, try to translate it in a way that contains only observation. And on the translation, you ask the same question. Who hear an interpretation, raise your hand. And go on as far as it's fun to you, or as far as you agree on that you are all hearing an observation. And then you change it. And you play with another one. Okay? Is it clear, the invitation I'm doing? Is there any question? Okay.
So how long will the speak?
Yeah, let's try with 10 minutes. And around 10 minutes and see what happens. Okay? So, let's go and enjoy, and we will see in 10 minutes. Okay.
Oh.
Thank you for your help. First of all. Yeah. I think I'm happy how it's going. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the breakout rooms, making sure there's...
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I just noticed I had my audio off when I was speaking.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to repeat something? Yeah.
I'm just gonna pause the recording.
So are we all back here in there? Yeah.
We are all back. Yes.
Okay. So I would love to hear from some of you. How did it went? Have you found something interesting for you in trying to do this? Or maybe something that you didn't like also.
I think sometimes when you have a judgment or quite a strong judgment, you want to hold on to it, and it's hard to take a few steps back to find the observation, and it was interesting.
Yeah. What was interesting to notice that part of you want to stick to it somehow. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And have you an idea what is that about? That part of you want to stay to it?
I suppose because I think it's true. My judgy mind is true, and maybe the observation, and I take a step back, is I lose that.
Thank you. Anything else from other people?
Yeah, I noticed that judgments are so sneaky. They're so sneaky that you can find them almost in every sentence. And I find it much easier just to observe myself and notice this my own stimulus rather than try to really make sure I'm nailing the observation rather than a judgment, yeah, judgments just jump right in there.
They are sneaky, you're right.
Very sneaky. Anyone else? Did it happen not to find an easy agreement in some of your group around something? Did it happen? No?
I noticed,
Not really.
if I may, that the wording was really tricky, and I can, see in like real life situations and be like, hang on while I don't judge you. Let me think of the right words. That'd be tough.
Hmm. Okay. Before, I want to add a little piece, but before that, is there any question around what we did or around the topic? Okay.
I can speak to what came up for me in the activity and how the topic, if I pick the Charles Manson sentence, and what came up for me is how we label certain actions. So as a result, I guess the word that comes to me is the word kill, and how there's actually actions that lead to that label, and the actions are different because we can take life in a myriad of ways, right? So I guess, and we had a wee conversation about that because I stayed in the main room, and Giacomo, you had something that I found really quite useful, and how you responded to that. So I'm wondering if you would possibly talk about the piece around understanding each other and how sometimes we use language to understand each other. So yeah, that was something that was alive in me from this activity.
Yeah, thank you, Deb. Thank you, Deb. Yeah, so I move right to that piece that also is what I wanted to share with you. So one thing that to me is really important, because I found this first step to have this clarity about when my mind is interpreting from what is actually happening. I found it so precious for me and so useful in many ways. And it was also kind of really an eye-opening to realize that really my mind is so used, and it can interpret and judge so quickly. I'm so full of it, and really I'm really good at that, actually. So I would like just to explore with you a few words about why do we want to do that? What's the purpose? What's the invitation in doing this distinction, first of all? And do you have anything for you around that you want to share? Why it was helpful for you? What's the reason you see that it can be helpful to do this distinction? Before I say something, I would like to hear from you. As just to grasp more voices and to... Nikki.
I noticed the difference. I used a statement about my daughter, how she never cleans up after herself. And when I say that to her, she can get quite defensive. But if I say to her something like, oh, you've left your plate on the table and you've left the room, then that gives her time to process what I've thought. And then what I notice, if I just say that, she'll come back and do it without me having to tell her what to do, because I'm just stating the observation. So I guess for me, I don't feel like I'm nagging, and for her, she receives that as just an observation with no judgment. So then she's not getting upset with me. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, exactly. And what I'm hearing is that if you find your place with the observation, you're kind of really, you can separate inside yourself the judgment from actually what happened. And so when you say it from that energy, it affects also the other people, because the other people will not hear a judgment, so it will not defend himself or herself, something like that.
Yeah.
So it helps you in staying in the, entering the connection, or in staying in the connection with the other person. Yeah. Thank you, Nikki.
Can I just add another piece onto that? It's also teaching, because she's 16, so it's also teaching her how to make observations of others.
Yeah.
So that's something else that I'm really passionate about, is teaching her how then to be in the world.
Yeah, beautiful. So while we are doing it, we are also showing other people the way we would love to relate to each other. That's what you're saying, yeah. Anyone?
Yeah, it's a question that I love this topic, because it's a question that, and something I struggle with a lot, is these judgments and knowing even when I'm doing them, and wondering why I do them, And I think it's somehow it feels smart, and time saver, getting to the solution quicker or something like that, which it isn't at all, but it's hard to convince myself of that. Like, I see the problem. This is what it is, and this is how we fix it, and it creates all sorts of distance between me and my loved ones, because it's like, oh, well, wait a minute. Maybe I don't necessarily see it. Maybe they see a different angle than I do and such, or whatever, but it doesn't actually create the connections that I may be seeking. I know that's true, but it's really hard to avoid, because it's like, I can fix it. And
I can fix it. Yeah.
Yeah, I get a little zealous about my fix.
Yeah. Lovely to hear that. That the way I'm getting is that sometimes in us it's alive, maybe an intention that it's not exactly connection. There is also something different. Maybe we want to help, or we want to solve, or we want to sometimes also to look smart. That's the way I say it, or to, and that's tricky when it gets mixed. The intention, then the energy that come across might be not supportive. Something like that, Byron. Did I get you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anything more? Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to share with you, and to me, I hear that it is already there. So why we want to do this distinction, and what's the aim of it? So first of all, I want to make it clear, the fact that there is this first step, it doesn't mean that we must put this into words every time. It's a support for us. So the intention is to find connection, even if we are relating to ourselves, but or with other people. We want to put words to it if we think it will serve connection. If it's already clear what we are talking about, I would avoid to put words to it. If I have the sense that it's clear between us, I always try to I do my best to put less words as much as I can into the dialogue, because I see it's more helpful. And some of the reason why we want to do that, we say, first of all, is we call it build a shared starting point, a common ground, what we are looking at, what we are trying to talk about. So if we stay to observation, if we stay close to observation, the idea is that it will be more easy for the other person to understand really from where we are coming from, what is that stimulated us and what we are talking about. To me, it's also helpful to for myself then to identify my I message, like the example Jocelyn shared. I heard from the news this, so it's also a way that guides me towards taking the ownership of what I wanted to say. So I see it also helpful in this way. For sure, as also Nikki shared, it diminishes, it really minimizes the possibility that the other person will hear a criticism or an attack. So if I stick to observation, we increase the probability that while I'm talking, the other person is still listening to me and not trying to defend himself, even if in her head, in her mind, or ears. So that's the idea, to help us to keep the connection, actually. Yeah. And I have also a lead more piece that I found it really, I really enjoyed, actually. That is through practicing this distinction, I like to learn what is that really stimulates me. Well, if I can look at it with really curiosity, I often do this example, that it happened to me to realize that some people, when you meet someone and you shake your hand and you say, hi, pleasure, at least this is how we do in Italy. We shake our hands, we say our name. And with some people, I find it immediately irritating, even before to say our name. I had the sense of irritation. And then I say, what is that? I even don't know this person, and I'm already irritated. So, and for example, one thing that I noticed is that, I don't know why, but some people, they shake their hand at me, and while they do that, they kind of turn it in another direction, and they don't look at me. And then I get immediately irritated. But then I can look at it with some tenderness, and some curiosity, just before judging the other person, just to notice, okay, this is what is disturbing me somehow. And then I can go to that with curiosity. What is that about? What is the way that I interpret this? Maybe I interpret that this person is not caring, is not interested to me, or whatever, a wagon of judgment behind this. But so, yeah, that's the way I also use it for myself, to look at myself with curiosity, and it helps me also to receive myself with some tenderness in my judgments. Yeah, that's it. So really, the idea is not we don't want to make judgment. It's not we don't want to judge. That's not where I want to put the focus. That's not the objective. It's okay to judge. Personally, I'm full of judgment. I will carry that on at least probably as far as we would die. And I just want to see them and to translate it in something that is more probably useful to me. That's the idea. Yeah. I'm fulfilled, and maybe if before moving to question and answer, I would love to hear, if you, few words, a couple of you, if you enjoyed something in this exploration together. Wolf, I see you open the mic, and I wonder, and the camera. I wonder if you want to say something.
Yes, I was pondering on the interaction I had beforehand and the diet, where I became aware that lately, like in the moment, I'm a bit sick. And so my internal fuse seems to be a bit shorter. And so I notice I get at times reactive and angry about myself or something little that's happening around me. And I notice, so I have an unconscious judgment. And the reactiveness is a response to the unconscious judgment that I wasn't aware of before the situation occurred. So that's some new learning for me. Thank you.
Thank you. One more voice.
Giacomo, I'm just really touched by the last thing you shared, which really helped this activity land for me. And what you said was something like, yeah, we don't have to get rid of our judgments, but judgments can be translated into something that's more useful. And I just noticed, I went, oh, yes, that really helps me. That means a lot to me.
Okay, so thank you all for receiving this invitation to practice together, and complete with that. I really enjoyed the exchange, especially that we had together, and hearing from you. I hope there will be also a chance to meet maybe some of you, or who knows, in person in New Zealand. And from now on, I would like to move with the whole team that is here to the question and answer time for this session. And I give you also the word to Jorinde, maybe, or yeah.
Thank you so much, Giacomo, for this session. I learned a lot, actually. I'm still digesting. Yeah, and now I would love to open up the space for any of you, if you have questions specifically about the IIT in New Zealand, anything about the accommodation, about the experience, anything at all. So yeah, please be welcome. You are also welcome to post your questions in the chat, or you can just open your mic, whatever feels most comfortable to you.
Jorinde, I have a question about the before and after of the 9 days IIT. How much space before and after is there for us to come earlier or stay later, depending on, like flights and other commitments that might be happening at the time?
Wow, I like that question. I'm wondering, Jocelyn or Kaya, if you know the answer to that. I actually don't.
Yeah, I think I will ask Michelle at the venue, Nikki, whether it's possible for. So, would your question be if you wanted to come and actually stay at the venue for a night before or at the end? Is that a possibility?
Yeah.
Okay, I will ask that question and add it to the helpful details that there's a link to on your letter.
Thank you.
Fire?
Yeah, similar line of question on the logistics of it. So is this basically pretty much immersion? Are we like there in it for 24/7 for the time, or is it like some evenings will be free to do other things, or just for my own planning purposes?
Yeah. The intention is really that it is an immersive experience and that you stay on the premises wherever possible. There is, of course, there is room for if you have something that if you just need some time in for yourself, of course, there is space for that. Yeah, but the intention is really to have an immersive experience. as a community, as living NVC for this time of 9 days intensively together. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I'd like to add to that too,
Yeah.
which is that it's probable there'll be some time maybe put into the schedule where there is some spaciousness. And I remember at my last IIT, sometimes the home groups would go out and do something together, and there were some times where it was just downtime. So that is also quite likely, but of course the schedule hasn't been made yet, so we're not able to confirm that fully for you yet.
Okay, thank you.
And yet, I'm curious, Byron, can you just say a few more words about behind what you said? Is
Yeah,
that maybe
certainly.
you think you need? Yeah, thank you. Just to get it fully.
Yeah, just certainly. So it's basically goes with the previous question on wondering if I should add a day or two on either end, because shortly after the earthquake in Christchurch, I worked down there. I'd commute down there every week, and so some opportunity to make connections with people and who I worked with and friends I had there is what I'm kind of trying to figure out the logistics of. So.
Mm.
Okay, thank you, Byron. Now it's more clear. Yeah. And so I stayed with also what Jorinde said. Yeah, that's the idea, to spend time together. That doesn't mean that there is not space. Actually, space is yours, so people can really be at the IIT without participating into session if they want some time for themselves, going out and walk. It's not mandatory. There is no obligation to be into the training, and the idea is to anyway to be in the same place altogether. And it might be, I don't know, sometimes it happens that if there are people that live really close and maybe they have a need to attend to a very important thing and they go a few hours away, or I don't know. So yeah, for sure we would love everyone to be at ease so they can also carry on with their lives if there is something that's really asking for to be attended to. Yeah.
Annabelle, did I see you open your mic before? Did you have a question as well?
It sort of basically has been answered, but yes, I haven't read too much about it, about the format, but I was just wondering how many people, if it's a first time, so this is my first time, is it first time for most others?
At this stage, of course, we don't know exactly. Oh, you mean within this group here?
This group, yeah.
A first
And what
time
I
to
can
go
tell
to
you
an
too from
IIT?
the
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. Is it a first time to go to an IIT? Is that the question?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt.
What I can tell you, Annabelle, is that looking at the pre-registrations as they're coming in, which is, more people than we have here on this call, there would be a lot more than half of the people are saying, this is my first time at an IIT. And quite a few are saying that they're very new to NVC as well. And at this stage, we don't know how many of those pre-registrations will end up being people who actually come, but that's how it's kind of trending.
And that was my question, was how do you accommodate the varying levels of participants in NVC throughout the workshop?
Mm-hmm. Giacomo, do you want to speak to that, because you've been on training?
Can you say it again, because I'm not sure I got it fully, Janet?
Yeah, sure. How many? How do you accommodate the varying levels of people, like the beginning journey for NVC to the really experienced? How do you accommodate those levels of learning within the workshop?
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, it's about when we have people with different experience, how we can serve all the participants in that, where they are with their learning. That's your question, right?
Yes, that's her question.
Okay, because I see her image stuck now. So Can you hear us, Jeanette? Can you just say if you can hear us? Maybe not. Anyway, I can say it for the others, and then we can address her as well if she come back. Yeah. Basically, there will be. Can you hear us now, Jeanette? Okay. There will be during the day. There are different times and different ways we spend the time together. So part of it will be all together. And we call it community meeting, usually at the very beginning of the day, at the end of the day. And then there will be multiple offering during the day, actually parallel offering from different trainers. And we will have some topic of the day, let's say, and around the topic there will be offerings. And also in the offering, we try to be clear about if we consider the offer for someone that has already some familiarity with NVC or not. And I can say, then I speak for myself, but I never tired of practices, also if I did it already, or because it's just that I found myself being in a different place when I do a training that I consider even for myself a basic training, that I'm in a different place. I'm looking for something different, and I'm looking at something different. So yeah, that's also a way I nourish myself. And to answer the question, really, that's the way we try to care, having more trainers, more session offered. Obviously, we have a registration, we have a sense where people are in their learning, and we want to care for it. So is this enough? And I'm also asking again to Jeanette if she's hearing. And is there anyone in the team that want to add something to what I said? Maybe I missed something. Yeah. And there will be also time for, let's call it, offerings from all the participants somehow, even if not, might be related to the content or not. Maybe also something, whatever things that people are passionate about or they want to share. So that's also a way to nourish each other. Maybe we'll be connected to NVC, maybe to something different. So yeah, in the day we will have space for that.
I do want to add a little bit to that as well, which is just a bit of my own personal experience. And for my first IIT in 2023, I hadn't read a single text about NVC, not watched one video. I just showed up completely brand new to it all. And I found that there is so much beautiful learning and just every day-to-day interaction that reflected my level of understanding, which was entirely new. So even if some of the content in some of the classes or offerings I couldn't quite capture, it was totally supported by just being fully immersed in it every second of the day that I was there. And that was really helpful.
Yeah, I shared the experience, yeah. We always think about learning, I was often thinking about learning the way I learned at school, that you go into the class and that's where you learn. But in the context of an IIT that is really living together and spending the time together, I got so much joy just from many moments that we are all together and something happens, something little, maybe something with someone else or something in the big group. So just to echo what Kaya said somehow.
I would like to add that Polly would ask the question in the chat, and she would love to hear from people who've done an IIT before and what some of the major takeaways have been. So I'm wondering, Kaya, knowing it was the first experience of NVC for you completely, what did you take away other than being an organizer for the next one? There must be a lot there.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the takeaway is, at least for me, my first experience of NVC through an IIT, just totally transformed and redirected the entire course of my life. And yeah, to the extent, I'm now a candidate who's in training to offer NVC and also love it so much that I wanted to be an organizer. But if I were to like really go back to that moment, for me, what the IIT offered is a real holding for my flame of hope, which at that point I hadn't realized was nearly gone out. And I was looking for a way to be in the world that reflected my heart. And so I was gifted that by being in this like quite crazy and kind of all of these different people and their experiences and feelings, this container. And yeah, it touched me so deeply that I just fell in love with NVC. So that's one of my personal experiences, what I took away from the last IIT. And I guess really what I really valued is the concentration of nonviolent communication, especially because it's happening in every single moment where I'm alone or interacting with somebody else. And even just watching other people. There's so much learning just in that.
Thank you. And I wonder, anyone else who has been to an IIT who would like to say what was one major takeaway for them?
I can speak? I can speak to that. Something that comes up really strongly for me when I connect to the IIT that Kai was talking about was the different people who I connected with, and it's not just receiving the learning from the trainers, but it's the conversations at meal times, it's the conversations when walking to the venue. It's all those in between times where I really had some quite deep and quite heartfelt conversations. And I just loved my home group. Like I had 5 of us together who just connected quite deeply and have remained friends to now. And I really valued the level of intimacy that we had in our home group. So the home groups actually are a highlight, or were a highlight for me when I think about the IIT. Yeah.
Oxy.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. That was really inspiring, but it also inspired this sudden thought. I'm in an NVC group I've been in for a while, and it's a Zoom group. And I've always wanted an NVC friends in Melbourne. And I don't know, can our home groups can we put in a request that that maybe, could I put in a request that I could be in a home group with other people from Melbourne? Because I'm really don't want to just always connect on Zoom with people. I do want to connect with everybody that I connect with, but it'd be really nice to have Melbourne NVC friends that I can actually see and go out for coffee with.
Yeah. Yay. Oh, I just am so celebrating your question, Foxy, and wanting that connection of physical togetherness other than meeting through Zoom. And yeah, I have a big yes for making that happen. Yeah.
So should I write an email to that effect or something?
I imagine that on the day, there's no need to write an email about it, but that on the day there will be, I will now take in your question and actually put that to the team and make sure that we do care, that we put this out, that if anyone has a request to be in a group with someone from their locality, then we will put those people together. That's my proposal, and I cannot see why there would be a no for that at this stage. But
so then the next question is, does that mean that the home groups are not decided in advance? They're decided after we get there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yay.
At each IIT, the group of people who are training it have different creative ways of forming the home groups. And I'm sure this team will be no different. There'll be some creative way. And this kind of flows into what I would say was my biggest takeaway from the first IIT I went to, which was in Santa Barbara in 2008, was, what? I had a choice? So it was, for me, it was just this mind-blowing experience. And Marshall was the one who kind of really provoked that in me, that I don't just have to follow along, even if there's somebody up there called a trainer who's making a request. It is truly a request. That was when it really came through to me. A request actually is a request. No is an acceptable answer as yes. And so, that's my takeaway, and also my encouragement to everyone coming to this IIT. Remember, this is your 9 days. You make it work for you. And I see Giacomo nodding, and I'm imagining that's knowing the little I do about the trainers in our team. That would be really encouraging.
That's really when we want to practice that. Go for what we want also, and to ask it and see how we can play together in a way that,
Speaking of choice, I'm hungry. I'm going for dinner. I love you all already.
Yeah.
And thank you. Grazie, grazie. Arrivederci. I love you all already. Sorry.
Ciao, Foxy.
Bye. Thank you. I'll see you soon.
It will come really soon, won't it?
Choice immediately. She got it.
So good.
Yay. Okay, and I would like to also honor everyone's time, seeing it's 33 past the agreed, 3 minutes past the agreed hour. Thank you all so much for being here. If there are any more questions that pop up for you, please email us and we will do our best to answer you within 3 days. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
everyone.
Thank you.